Hello, and welcome to the Flute 360 podcast. I'm Dr. Heidi Kay Begay, your guide in this holistic flute journey. Whether you're looking to grow personally, refine your artistry, or build your flute business, this podcast has you covered. I created Flute 360 because I realized the gaps in my own education, and I know you might feel the same way. Let's dive in and uncover your voice so it's amplified both on and off the stage, leading to artistic and financial success. That's what 360 is all about, connecting all the dots in your flute journey. Today's episode 297 is titled Lead by Example, Embracing Your Zone of Genius to Inspire Peers. Feeling stuck in your flute career? Can't find your artistic voice? Or don't know how to get back into music and make it your livelihood? If you're lacking the support you need, the Flute 360 Studio is here for you. We understand your struggles, and our one-on-one coaching is designed to help you overcome them. With only 4 spots left and a deadline of September 1st, 2024, this is your chance to take control of your journey. You're what matters most, and we're here to provide the support you need. So contact me. Contact me at HeidiKBegay@gmail.com or visit my website at HeidiKBegay.com. The links are in the show notes below. Thanks. Hey, Flute 360er. So today's episode is to give you inspiration, motivation, and empowerment for me to encourage you to show up in your most authentic way, your most authentic self. And one of the themes of this podcast is, as your teacher, mentor, and friend, I want to empower you to find and own your authentic, unique voice, both on the stage and off the stage. And what I mean by that is I want you to say bye-bye to performance anxiety. So that is feeling empowered through your flute voice on the stage. I also want you to feel really confident off the stage as you are marketing yourself, as you are sharing your true, authentic voice off the stage in capacities like social media, podcasting, YouTube, and the like. It's all interconnected. So that's why one of my biggest soapboxes is please podcast, 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 podcast. You've heard me say that a million times. And the reason being is because there are so many layers, so many educational layers to the art of podcasting that relay beautifully into your flute world and artistic voice and your business voice. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because sometimes a lot of you, and I totally empathize, a lot of Flute 360ers don't want to show up off stage because they are worried about sounding and being annoying to their community, thinking, oh my gosh, what are these people thinking of me? How are they perceiving me and my work? And that hinders you. That hinders you from showing up and really positioning yourself in this really solid, unique way. I don't want you to back up. I don't want you to crawl into a hole and go, oh my gosh, I'm going to just stay right here because who would want to hear me talk? Who would even want to purchase my flute offering or product? And so I'm going to help you shift your paradigm today so you can perceive this hurdle from a new perspective. It's something that I've learned through my own podcasting journey. Now, disclaimer, you do not have to start a podcast. You don't. But there are a lot of beautiful, valuable lessons that I have seen unravel for myself and for my own career. But by showing up through a podcast, you start learning and identifying and recognizing who you are, what you want to share, how you want to share it in your own unique way. So if you are having a hard time showing up for your audience, right, and you're putting the spotlight a little bit too much on yourself, let's take the pressure off. Let's take the weight off of your shoulders. And yes, it's about you, but let's make it not about you. Let's focus instead on the wonderful outcomes that can show up for you and for your business if and when you do show up authentically. Focus on the outcome. Focus on the aftermath of you presenting yourself in the most authentic, genuine way possible for your community. And this is the outcome I want you to focus on. That outcome is, the amazing ripple effect that can happen for your tribe. Now, this specific result was not something that I had even perceived for myself and for Flute 360, but it came to fruition, and I want to share that with you. It's so easy, I promise you, to put too much pressure on yourself and think, oh my gosh, did I overshare? How do I look on camera? What do I sound like? And you can go down many, many, many different rabbit holes and then not end up doing the thing. Focus on this result instead. And that is show up not only for yourself, show up not only for your dream client or student, but show up for your peers and colleagues. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. Show up for your peers and colleagues. They are craving to hear from you. Now, by you not showing up, of course, yes, you are doing a massive disservice for your community in the aspects of your clientele and for yourself. But this portion of the community, the colleagues and peers, was a group of people that I didn't even know existed. Now, yes, of course, I know I have colleagues, but I didn't realize that my work through the podcast would impact my colleagues in a positive way in which they felt like I gave them secret permission to show up for themselves, their tribe, and their work. Is that not amazing? So by you not showing up, you are thinking, oh my gosh, I am such a massive annoyance to my tribe. No, the people who really are craving your perspective, ideas, and expertise, they want to hear from you. And the subgroup of your community who's craving to work with you or to hear from you as well include your colleagues. What ends up happening is your colleagues are watching you too. Remember how I said it may look like crickets? It may be like, oh my gosh, I'm talking into the void. But remember how I've encouraged you in the past, and I have stated, your people are watching you. They are hearing you. I promise. They really are. And so by you showing up in your most authentic, genuine self, sharing your expertise, your perspective in your own unique way, nobody else can match that. You are a unique individual. You are secretly giving permission to your music and flute colleagues for themselves to show up in their own authentic way as well. So case in point, literally, I kid you not, I have been doing a lot of solo episodes lately. And one of my dear friends, clients, and colleagues is Jeff. And so shout out to Jeff. Hi, I know you are listening to this. But the more he listens to these solo episodes, he will Voxer me and say, oh my gosh, I love these little mini short 20-minute solo episodes. I'm considering this for my music podcast too. And I'm like, oh yeah. I know he listens as a listener, right? But then him shifting positions and changing hats and then coming to me colleague to colleague and saying, you know what, you've inspired me to do the same format for my podcast for a particular season. And I think, oh, wow, that's really cool. And from time to time, I share my faith through a Flute podcast, right? It is related because everything's interconnected, mind, body, spirit. And I want to ground you on some amazing scriptures and verses from the Word. So I share because that is how I encounter and experience life, and I know it can help you. So with that, by me showing up in my true authentic self, being a Christian musicpreneur woman, sharing biblical verses through the podcast, other Christian musicpreneurs are coming to me through DMs and saying, thank you for being bold. Thank you for showing up in this way. You have given me permission without you realizing it. You, Heidi, you have given me permission to show up and walk by faith through my YouTube channel, my podcast, and or my blog. That was never on my radar. I promise you, when I received those DMs from colleagues talking about that message, I am blown away because it was not on my radar. It was not something that I was seeking. It just came to me organically. But by hearing those messages of support, by hearing those encouraging words, I want to show up even more in my authentic self. And the fact that something as simple as demonstrating who you are and how you function in and within the music world in your own unique way, people are watching and you are giving them the A-OK to show up for themselves and their community in that same capacity. How empowering, right? For you to inspire somebody to such a degree is invigorating. So I don't know if this helps you, but for me, at least when I hear the Adrians and the Tatianas and the Angelas come to me and say, keep going, keep sharing your faith. This is giving me power and mojo through my own platforms. I want to keep going. And then it blows my mind that they want to show up in the same way for their people. And by seeing it this way, it takes the pressure off of little old me. And I want the same for you. So if you feel like you're putting too much pressure on yourself, right? Of, oh my gosh, all eyes are on me. Yes, but you're a vessel. And the creations that you create and form from your vessel can inspire other musicians and other creators to do the same in their own unique way. So I encourage you, please, pretty please, lead by example. Embrace your zone of genius to inspire your peers and colleagues. And this actually reminds me of a past 360 interview that I did with one of my guests. The guest is Rachel Omkodon, and she is a Parisian flutist who travels the world and has international flute gigs. Her band is called Rosaway, and when she talks about herself being inspired as an artist, she realized that social media can be quite powerful. Sometimes it's icky on social media, right, with haters and things like that. But she was saying that it can really be this amazing influential tool in the regard of her noticing other artists and flutists that look like her, that sound like her. And she gets inspired to say, oh, that artist looks like me and they're doing it. It doesn't seem so scary. So they have given me permission to show up in my own jazz, pop, rock way. That's what I want you to do for your peers. How cool is that? And then even using Rachel as an example, but in a different light, my students who are interested in jazz and rock and blues, etc., I will show them Rosaway's account. I will show them Rachel's account and say, look at this amazing Parisian, beautifully made flutist who is conquering it through this international stage. She doesn't look like an orchestral flutist. She doesn't look like a solo flutist on stage playing, the Mozart concerti. That's really great. Don't get me wrong. But she's showing up and creating music that inspires her and motivates her, and she's sharing it with her community. You can do the same thing. So the students who are interested in other genres outside of the classical world, they see a Rachel Obradam and they're going, oh, wow, okay. And what's happening is secretly she's giving them permission that you don't have to look or sound a certain way. You can really show up in your most unique way where you will feel creatively and financially fulfilled. So as an artist, as a modern day flutist, I give you permission to inspire others. In closing of today's episode, I want to share with you an amazing biblical verse that wraps up your individuality so beautifully. You are so loved and created in God's image that He loves you and He wants to spend time with you and He wants to be in this intimate relationship with you. He knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. So the verse that I want to leave you with is, and it comes from Matthew 10:26 through 31. And even the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. I hope and pray that this episode brings you joy, peace, and confidence for you to step into your authentic self to empower and inspire your peers. Thank you for listening to the Flute 360 podcast. Now's the perfect time to level up your flute journey with our free 30-day trial of the Flute 360 Accelerator Program, available through the end of August 2024. This is your one and only opportunity this year to explore our amazing community, access over 25 videos, and learn from our special fall 2024 guests like Dr. Catherine Eminent, Jolene Madewell, Dr. Danette Derby McDermott, Corey Barger, and Daniel Velasco. But hurry, this offer ends on September 1st, 2024. We're here to support you, so join us now and experience the Flute 360 Accelerator without any payment until September. Let's talk about flute.